I immediately forgot the date. Hello, welcome back to Links with Friends. August 12th.
There it was. Should have went with it.
Government and social?
No one would have known that your memory is less than 12 seconds.
Well, I missed the first part when we were looking at the calendar, and I was like, we'll just wing it. It'll be fine.
But I made a comment that I got it wrong.
Uh-huh.
It's the people love it. You getting things wrong.
Yeah,
it's the perfect way.
It makes everyone feel a little better about themselves.
It leads us in. It's what we're used to.
But you know what's right? The people that subscribe.
Oh, yeah.
All right, yeah.
I think we got more super thanks. So the UI is different than I'm used to because I don't know why.
It's split differently between our two channels, yeah.
So super thanks from John Clark and Coolio Cube. Thank you.
Oh, Coolio Cube was only the last time, too.
Yeah. Oh, well, that might be just like a 2-for-1.
Oh, does it just keep cumulative?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
And it was exactly a week ago, so it's like, I don't know.
Those might be the same, too.
Yeah. So, well, no, the other one's 6 days, so I don't know. But we're also trying to figure out, like, if you're watching this on Patreon or Floatplane, we're trying to figure out how to include you as well if you want to, because that's apparently what the new kids are doing. I don't know.
So. I think it's been a common thing. It's like you get the little ticker at the end of the episode. It's like kind of like PBS, brought to you by our patrons.
Brought to you, yes, literally and figuratively. So thank you if you've subscribed on Patreon or Floatplane.
And viewers like you.
There's no more public broadcasting company either, so it's literally just us. It's between us and Sanity, I guess.
We're not getting any federal funding.
I was really sad because I actually really like the PBS science channels on YouTube.
Apparently some of the things that they've canceled funding to, though, they were just handing that out to anybody. It's like, we missed that gravy train. Those days are over.
You know what I've noticed, though? Because they have put a lot of that stuff on YouTube, probably just stealing it. And I've noticed that the documentaries from the older days, like they'll start with a long shot and just like no voiceover. And they're like, oh, and it always like, I've been watching ancient history stuff. They always start with a modern city. And it's like B-roll. It's like, oh, let's look at this modern city where we came from. And I'm sitting there like, get to it. I don't have the patience for this. It's 2025.
My brain's been rotted by shorts.
What are you doing? I've been broken by the modern system. And I don't even TikTok. So God help the youth. And God help all of us because once again, we have a new tariff. It's kind of an old tariff.
By the time it gets to you, who knows? Yeah.
That'll probably change, but it's big and it's got big exceptions and it's probably going to cause a lot of problems.
CNBC headline is Trump vows 100% tariffs on chips unless the companies are building them in the U.S. So Apple and NVIDIA are exempt from this. AMD is apparently not. What about Texas Instruments? Like Texas Instruments? But I ordered
They're
Texas
not a big
Instruments
player,
stuff,
so I don't care.
but I'm going to have to pay because they don't come from the U.S., but it's Texas Instruments.
I mean, that's a problem all on its own.
I don't know that this is going to solve that, though.
Well, it's not going to solve it in the short term because we all know that this cannot be solved quickly. But I guess at some point you got to rip the Band-Aid off is the argument that the pro-tariff people would make.
Can we start with things like plumbing supplies and metal boxes for, the electrical system?
Or maybe glass for your cell phone?
Copper process. Oh, yeah, we might be getting a glass plant. That might be coming here.
A smooth segue. You guys didn't even realize it.
Well, what we know about the modern tech companies is they're led by people who probably have some pretty big egos. And the country also led by a man with a really big ego. And those have clashed. And is there any doubt in your guys' mind that Tim Cook hates Donald Trump with like the fierceness of the sun?
I don't know that any of the tech CEOs are capable of love. So,
but Tim Cook in particular,
yeah,
I'm sure just seethes with hatred for the man. And in the past has not gone out of his way to like be friendly, but he's finally given up. And he knows the playbook. Maybe not him, but somebody at Apple was like, listen to him. Kiss his butt and give him a gift. That's how it works.
Trump and Apple announce a new $100 billion commitment to manufacturing in the U.S. And for that, they get exemption from the tariffs. But also, the thing that I think you're alluding to is the Corning glass doohickey thing. Oh, yeah, The Verge has Apple made a 24-karat gold and glass statue. Look at that. It's a gold bar with a slot cut in it.
But it's made out of the new glass that the iPhones will be made out of, which presumably are going to be manufactured right here in the Bluegrass.
Yeah, in Kentucky. There's part of me that doesn't believe any of that. I think it'll just fall through like a lot of manufacturing projects do here in the good old bluegrass. But
Which has been the case. So, I mean, Arizona's got the one, but was it Wisconsin or Minnesota?
Ohio.
Did not. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Ohio.
there's been several that have fallen through.
I suspect it's going to be. Look at this amazing $2.5 billion plant that we've built. It employs 37 people because it's all robots.
Yeah.
But that probably didn't cost much in terms of Apple's bottom line, and it got them quite the carve out, and that they're not going to be 100% tariffed.
You mean we could just do business without tariffs if we just give them a gold bar?
Imagine being a designer at Apple and it's like, okay, we have a brief for you, and it's like, oh, am I designing a new app or like a new piece of like tech? And they're like, no, we need you to design a statue to give to Trump.
A literal gold bar
Yeah.
that holds a
Now, that's not all they did. They also pledged another $100 billion in local manufacturing, local being the United States. So they already had $500 billion pledged. So there will be a total of $600 billion they're going to put into creating things in the U.S., presumably, including our beautiful glass plant that we're going to get here.
It's the best glass plant. Everyone says so.
But
and then this happened,
Yeah.
which everybody is still scratching their heads.
it's definitely winners and losers. So yeah, NVIDIA and Apple, big winners. Intel, big loser.
Intel shares drop after Trump calls for CEO to resign immediately. Lip Bhutan. Apparently Trump is not happy with Lip Bhutan and says that he has too many ties to Chinese investment. We can't be sure. So here's another person that thinks maybe Pat should have been left to finish his mission.
Wow.
I don't think that's what he was thinking.
I don't think Trump was thinking anything about it. He doesn't know anything about this, doesn't care. It was Tom Cotton, or someone in Tom Cotton's ear, who kicked this off. And he claims that Lip Bhutan has ties to the Chinese Communist Party, and also was looking into his past about some financial crimes from a previous company that he was CEO of.
Isn't that like a plus in Trump's book? I mean,
Well, it was a Chinese company, I think, maybe.
This seems absolutely insane. Like, even if that were true, like why would this come out now? Like, is there some other insanity going on that this is meant to serve as a distraction for? Because they also called for TSMC to buy 49% of Intel and give them secrets to help Intel, like, make chips better or something. It almost seems like there's two warring factions. Like, the business people want Intel to fail to carve up the assets and sell it off because they'll make a bunch of money in the short term. And then there's like the old guard engineers that are like, no, we must keep the Intel manufacturing going and, the engineering aspect of it.
You just can't control yourself, can you?
What? Oh, Trump's ultimatum to Taiwan, 15% tariff only if TSMC buys 49% stake in Intel and invests $400 billion in the U.S. Yeah. I thought that was another story. It wasn't the next one, though. Oh, yeah, this one.
And so we have the new FCC. The new FCC has torn apart everything that the previous FCC did. And one of those things was controlling broadband prices, because we all know that broadband in many places is a monopoly, which makes them able to set whatever price they want. Well, guess what? It's back.
Trump tells states they'll lose out on broadband fund if they try to dictate rates. There's going to be a lot of people upset that their internet connection is crappy and they can't work from home anymore.
So that is the lowest rate. You can't just decide as a state. The companies get to decide.
yay!
But it's very hard to start your own ISP because you can't just lease time on the poles. Like, I'm going to start my own ISP and run my own fiber optics because that's not very expensive. They make that hard to do.
And the SEC and the financial powers have always been very careful to keep most 401ks and fixed incomes and, like mom and pop's nest egg into assets that they consider to be pretty safe, like treasuries, which of course also funds the government. But Trump has now said goodbye to all of that. He is the crypto bro.
Trump signs order broadening access for alternative assets in 401ks, including crypto assets, but also a lot of private investments. It's not just crypto, although it is worrying that that is now a thing that you can invest in.
Which was lobbied by Stone. I always get them confused.
Rock and Stone, something.
They're basically the same thing. But one of them was like, hey, we would like to manage all these 401ks with these risky assets. We're good at this. And so now they're going to get their way. as they often do.
It's weird how all of those operations usually diffuse the losses but concentrate the gains. So it's like they'll manage your 401ks with all these risky assets, but if it is wildly profitable, your 401k only gets a marginal benefit versus the benefit to the company that's managing it. It's weird.
And there's a lot of money coming out of Washington as well and into the pockets of the tech bros and even the darkest of the tech bros, the most evil perhaps.
Palantir lands a $10 billion Army software and data contract.
Now, that's not all new money. Palantir was all over the military. They were doing all kinds of stuff, AI, surveillance stuff. And somebody was like, look, let's just package this into one big deal. Monthly payment. That's all we need. We're going to do everything for you.
A retainer.
Yeah, basically. So that's over 10 years. So it's $1 billion a year. Palantir is guaranteed to make. Unless there's, world peace.
I do like that the picture they picked is the peace sign.
Literally would destroy his business if that happened.
Is ignorance also strength now?
Well, we're getting the memory hole. So
I knew you'd have thoughts on this one.
Yeah,
This is you bait.
Why not every aspect of 1984? Let's just go ahead and pretend that this never happened.
Coding error blamed on after parts of the Constitution disappeared from the U.S. website. What parts disappeared? Habeas corpus. It's so weird.
Part of Section 8 and Section 9, I think.
It's just text. What coding error could possibly cause certain parts not to appear?
I could see it if it was like, some of the special characters turned into, random things. We had to fix that. But like a whole section disappearing, come on.
Maybe they're trying to do anchor tags and they broke that for those sections.
Just for Section 8 and 9, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was a coding error that has seen U.S. citizens deported to like Ecuador and places. It's like, that was an oops. And it's like, how?
It's a relatively short document.
Yeah.
There is no way that wouldn't just be plain text. Maybe a little formatting, but it's astonishing. But what's the goal there?
Distraction?
But who's actually going to the White House website and reading the Constitution every day?
Maybe they just slowly
noticed
start, memory holing it, all of it, everywhere.
That's a long game, but government is usually a long game, so maybe. And drone delivery, we were promised it so long ago. We were promised drone delivery before we were promised that robots would take all of our jobs.
Almost before flying cars.
And we've got robots taking all our jobs. We kind of have flying cars, not really. But we still don't have drone delivery. Part of that might be the bureaucracy, which is now being stripped away.
U.S. proposes new rules that could lead to Starbucks and Amazon drone deliveries. I think Walmart is also doing a big push for this as well.
When you say big push, you mean they're lobbying for it.
Yeah.
Well, they got it.
Yeah.
And this is the line of sight rule, where you either have to have a camera on the drone so you can watch it, or you have to see the drone as you're flying it from the ground. That's gone now, or it will be. And instead, you have to map out your grid and submit flight plans, but you don't have to actually look at it.
It sounds like the flight plan thing is going to be an API, though, where they approve or reject a flight plan in real time.
And ICE is still out there, and it's an arms race. Did you see? So they have those apps now, and they have hotlines. So whenever you see an ICE vehicle, you're supposed to get the license plate and report it. And it's kind of like Waze. And then if anybody sees it, an alert goes out.
Hide.
They've started taking the license plates off the vehicles entirely.
And recently we had a raid with Penske trucks. They're renting moving trucks and loading the ICE agents in the back. Penske tweeted, and they were like, "You're not allowed to put people in the back of the truck. It's one of our policies." So the ICE agents themselves had to step up their surveillance in response to all this.
A CBP agent wore Meta smart glasses to an immigration raid in Los Angeles. Yeah, actually, I think in a lot of municipalities, it's against the law to have people back there.
It's also illegal for, them to be recording and not be able to have that accessible to their superiors, but here we are.
So we don't know if this guy, they pointed out like, hey, if this guy just bought those glasses for his own personal use, can we stop him from wearing them?
I mean, the fact that they could be recording, like...
Well, there's nothing to stop you or I from doing that.
Yeah, but I'm a citizen.
So is
This
he.
guy, well, yeah.
Nothing
Who
drives-
knows who he is? Like,
Nothing makes me more furious than cops using the word citizen. Like, oh, you don't think you are one? Let's make that a reality. Let's make you choose a side. And here is something that happened during the Biden administration, and that was back when we didn't even know how bad AI was going to be yet. We had a pretty good idea, but the powers that be looked at it, and apparently they found something so terrifying that they chose not to tell us.
Inside the U.S. government's unpublished report on AI safety, this article suggests that what they found was that it was really easy to manipulate the AI, even when it had been given safety things. But that will not surprise anyone that has read the works of Isaac Asimov.
or just interacted with anything, like in the last year.
It's like, oh no, we can convince the AI to do things that seems consistent with its programming, but in reality is not. It's like, yeah, it turns out.
And all we have is some off-the-record comments here. We haven't actually seen any of this, so we don't know exactly what was said, but we can assume, based on the fact that no one was ever shown it. And Trump has been so quick to contradict everything that Biden did, but he didn't. I mean, maybe this never came up, but I feel like if he knew about this, he'd be like, no, we still don't want to show him that. Let's keep that secret. Kind of like some of those other secrets he seems to be fighting for. And if you, we read the comments, and some of you feel that this is all very depressing. You're right. It is. Everything about the modern world is pretty depressing. And what are you going to do about it? You can't afford a real therapist, right? Your insurance is not going to cover that. But you also, if you're in Illinois, can't turn to the robots.
An Illinois bill banning AI therapy has been signed into law. That's probably good. That's a big part of the launch of GPT-5 that we'll have more about in the business section, is trying to build stuff in. It's like, oh, it turned out a lot of people were building parasocial relationships with AI. That was not good. And that was a large part of the inertia of this bill in Illinois is the people that were working on this said that the AI is not only giving terrible advice, but like it's not even people aren't not using it as like a therapist. They're just talking to the AI, and it's ending badly.
The human contact that no longer exists in our society.
I don't know how I stumbled here. Probably reading from one of the comments on these articles, but it was like there's a subreddit. It's like AI boyfriends, and people like. There was one of the top posts was someone like with an engagement ring, and they're like, "Oh, the AI finally proposed," and I was like, "You bought that ring?" Like, what?
We always thought that the weebs with their anime avatar girlfriends were, like,
losing their grip on reality,
but
but
now
like
it's become mainstream. Although theirs weren't as good. I mean, ChatGPT is really good at telling you what you want to hear.
and apparently buying you a ring, even though that was your money.
You know what? It probably searched the web and suggested one.
Yeah. It does have agent mode. It's just like.
So a licensed therapist, you can use AI in therapy, but it has to be reviewed by a licensed therapist. Some people were just like reselling AI as therapy. That will be a $10,000 fine going forward. And Elon Musk, I forgot. Did I put the story in about his stock? He got more Tesla stock.
Oh, as part of his comic. He got the money too, yeah.
Yeah, and he also had this big win this week.
Elon Musk and X notch a court win against California deepfake law. This was to do with like elections and deepfakes, and the lawsuit wasn't really about. Did you get the sense that the judge wasn't really talking about like deepfakes and elections and things like that? It's just that it was like we can't decide this up front. It has to be on a case-by-case basis.
No, his argument was, well, it was kind of that, but his argument, he said, I'm not talking about free speech here. I don't care about free speech. The only argument I care about is that this was a user on this website, not the website itself. That's 230. None of this has any ground.
So do you think that this exists as a tool to try to dismantle 230 in the long run?
Maybe. I mean, they pointed out several instances where, like, one was a Kamala Harris deepfake, where she was roasting her own campaign, like saying everything that she did wrong, and the judge was like, "Yeah, I don't care if this is free speech. I don't care what the content is. All I care about is the fact that someone created this. It wasn't Elon Musk or X, so I'm tossing it out." Which, that's what that's designed to do, whether you like it or not. That is the law. for now.
Oh, they're trying.
And moving over to Europe, some of our petty little arguments about politics are pale in comparison to the Online Safety Act, which is just destroying everybody's good time on the internet.
TechDirt's headline is like, it didn't take long to reveal the UK's Online Safety Act is exactly the privacy-crushing failure everybody warned you about. And that entire first paragraph you should just internalize. And this is coming to the rest of the world.
And what's sad is you can't, like, I mean, some people can maybe avoid it, but, like, we have to use it for our job.
It's shocking how quickly the other countries are wanting to roll out the same sort of stuff while running roughshod over, like, the possible upside is so much smaller than the downside.
And they point out some things here, and it's like, well, most of this I don't care about, right? Like Reddit, I can walk away from Reddit.
Right.
Spotify music videos, I don't want to watch any video on Spotify. Just want music. As long as you don't make me, if I can still have the explicit lyrics, I'm okay. But Wikipedia?
Yeah,
We need Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I mean, who has an encyclopedia now?
I have an old dictionary and thesaurus from, like, the 90s.
Even having an old encyclopedia is just wildly inconvenient to have to go physically find it and open it.
And also in the UK, they now have facial recognition everywhere, and they are planning on, I think, doubling it, was one of the things they said here. And what are you comparing that against, right? If you're walking down the street, is your face in that database? It turns out, very likely yes.
UK secretly allows facial recognition scans of passport and immigration databases. It's like one set of data was what, like 58 million, and then there was another 20 million photos. So combined, I think all the different data sources, there was over like 100 million, I think I counted.
20 million is what they're supposed to have access to. 93 in the immigration database and 54 in the passport. So instead of having access to 20, they now have access to about 150 million on top of the 20. Quite a lot more. And none of those people have explicitly been convicted of crimes. I mean, some of them have, but they're not in that list for that reason.
Yeah. Statistically, a few of them probably have been, but
Probably a lot.
We've got a story about another guy who was misrecognized. That's going to be fun.
And the EU is not far behind. They are not, just because the UK is not part of the EU anymore, doesn't mean that this is not coming to all of Europe.
Political blackmail. The EU Parliament is pressing for new mandatory scanning of your private chats. This is coming from the Danish chat control proposal. So this is another thing where, remember the App Store thing where the UK backed down? Now this is in the EU. It's the same kind of thing. It's weird there's a concerted effort among all of these things to backdoor your technology. I mean, if this were not a piece of technology, this would be a law that's like, we think we ought to be able to come to your house and inspect your papers and your mail and, just listen in on your conversations with your neighbors. Like, why is that unreasonable?
all I'm hearing is that we need to start a carrier pigeon business. We promise we'll never read your mail and your
They
carrier
would just
pigeons.
abduct the pigeons.
No, we would arm them.
That's the thing with this law, though, is that if this law passes, you couldn't run a carrier pigeon business like that because there has to be a back door.
If you don't, put in the correct code within 5 minutes of catching the pigeon, it'll burst into flames.
See, look, you've already solved that problem. Like, we need to make this an app right away.
So this brings up the whole, you're breaking encryption thing, right? Encryption doesn't work if you have a backdoor. Their argument against that is such great mental gymnastics. They're like, no. It'll still be encrypted end to end. We're going to look at the message before it gets encrypted. That's different.
So we have to have an agent that's running on your phone all the time.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's monitoring everything that you do. That is the end goal. I don't think people realize the level of concerted effort working against them, chipping away at what's reasonable.
I don't think most people realize what's like. If I asked my mom, hey, did you hear about you're going to have an ID to get online? She'd probably be like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, she wouldn't know at all.
Well,
that's the plan.
Last week we talked about so many people were surprised by this ID verification thing. I mean, this was a big news story if you looked at all. But most people, they just got their head down. They're trying to survive.
Yeah. Well, and they don't put it on the front page of a lot of places either.
And these people count on that. And the Swedes are a little bit angry with their leader because we know, at least the people in this audience probably know, that AI has a lot of fallacies. It gets things wrong in a big way, and you can't really trust it for big decisions, which you would assume are all that this man is making.
We didn't vote for ChatGPT, Swedish PM under fire for using AI in his role. Because he talks about how it's like, I was asking the AI for a second opinion. And it's like, that AI is going to glaze the crap out of him no matter what.
Also, it's like, what if he's telling state secrets to the AI? Like, come on. Think it through.
And it's ChatGPT, so we know that all that's going back to America.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's a security risk, if nothing else.
actually, wouldn't that violate those EU
Yeah.
data rules?
Yeah.
That'd be funny if they got rid
Dumbass.
of them on the technicality there. And this one turned out to be a false alarm in some ways, but just because they stepped it back one step doesn't mean those other 9 steps weren't really bad.
Belgium targets Internet Archive's open library in sweeping site blocking order update. So this was a site order that said, there's all kinds of copyrighted works that are available on all these sites. We need to block all this stuff. The place that asked for that said that the Internet Archive was included in that, but it was not actually included in the order. And when they asked for clarification, they said, no, it doesn't actually include the Internet Archive. But the argument was you could download things that belong to other people from the Internet Archive. And I don't think that's really true.
But a lot of these other, LibGen, Anna's Library, Z Library, which we've talked about a lot, those are definitely gray in terms of legality and copyright. But a lot of them are well-meaning, I think. And those are definitely locked out.
I'm definitely all for like what Aaron Schwartz was trying to do. It's like, here is the papers that were paid for by public funding and tax dollars. I'm going to repost them somewhere else. That should be okay.
Now we have that in terms of medical research, but it's all just going to be AI slop.
Yeah.
So who cares, right? And the facial recognition we talked about before in the UK is everywhere and still expanding. I think this is the article that's talking about they're looking to double it. And most of the time, maybe it's fine, but when it's not fine, you're going to have a really bad time.
Facial recognition tech mistook me for a wanted man. And this is an interesting story that is the thing that happens as the recognition database expands. The thing that the article I was talking about, 3 or 4 articles ago, this guy was swept up in that probably.
Now, he didn't get arrested. They wanted his fingerprint. He said no. Good job. Showed him his passport and showed that he was not the man they were looking for.
But what if you weren't carrying your passport?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is, just happened to turn out good, but how many times is this going to turn out bad? And how many times is this going to turn out like you actually go to prison?
How many times is it going to turn out papers, please? That seems to be unfolding in the Home Depot parking lots. It's like,
Yeah.
these papers are fake. It's like, no.
Speed running straight into Soviet Russia.
And the politicians who are embracing AI seem to be more and more brazen about it, and they just don't care about the limitations.
MP becomes first to create himself as an AI bot. That is, I'll just go ahead and fill in the details here for you. The AI bot is designed to placate constituents that are looking to engage with the politician because he does not care.
Which is what all AI is looking to do.
Yeah.
It's looking to placate the user, make you happy, make you spend tokens. Crazy world. That's going to catch on too. People are going to like that. They'll be like, oh, he's embracing the future. And Israel. Now, a lot of governments I don't think understand AI, but I think the Israeli government in a lot of ways does understand it because they are at the forefront of using it for tyranny.
The Guardian's headline is 1 million calls an hour. Israel is relying on Microsoft Cloud for expansive surveillance of Palestinians. So that's what is happening there is the people that are still there are being surveilled to the nth degree with all kinds of, like 1 million data points. It's like, we can't trust that. We have to know. We have to know that what's going on there.
So that's every phone call that takes place in that country. And what's hilarious is the Mossad or whoever, the Israeli government, set this up and they immediately ran into a wall. They were like, we are never going to be able to store every phone call that happens in that little tiny country. Who can we turn to that has experience with that? All right, the Americans. And Microsoft, using Azure, was happy to step in and they are now logging every phone call and running AI on those phone calls to determine where to strike.
What could possibly go wrong?
Here's a blast from the past. We have a court case that has wrapped up. This was quite a while ago, but it made people angry because this is a very personal thing, and Mark Zuckerberg was peeking into it.
Also potentially dangerous now.
Meta eavesdropped on period tracker apps users, a San Francisco jury has ruled. So they took people's private health information without permission. It's like, oh, that's just what Meta does.
Maybe that app was Flow. So
Don't use a period tracker app. Just use a calendar.
yeah, but why not? Because they pointed out that Facebook. So it was the Facebook suite of analytics, and like the app makers chose to put that in there. But they're like, well, how could Facebook have used that? And then they give a very good example. There's like a button you can press in that app, like trying to get pregnant, and then the app will, I guess,
Tell you when
advise
you're ovulating, yeah.
Yeah. So that a lot of people figured out, hey, I pressed that button and I started getting Facebook ads
For baby stuff.
about
yeah.
baby stuff.
That's interesting.
And we have a lot of scammers that are using WhatsApp. And how do you catch them? Well, you use this ungodly combination of surveillance and AI.
WhatsApp takes down 6.8 million accounts linked to criminal scam centers, Meta says. In the past, it made economic sense for Meta to turn a blind eye to that. It's like, oh, WhatsApp's growing exponentially. And it's like, oh, those are all criminals.
So they were using ChatGPT to translate and to actively manage you. Like one guy could manage all these different scams. So Meta and OpenAI teamed up to correlate the two and identify the accounts.
Again, you should use our carrier pigeon service. We got to think of a clever name.
It's a lot tougher to manage like 5 different scams using pigeons, though.
It is, yeah.
You got to keep a good spreadsheet.
But it has to be like on paper because you don't want them to find that in your cloud.
The good thing about it, though, I bet the old people would love getting the pigeon visits.
Yeah. It'd foster connection, like animals.
The pigeons would
Handling
be like, I have
skills.
to go back to work now. And they're like, no, sweetie, stay for more
Come-
crackers. And
They
it's
just
okay.
keep throwing food to it.
The pigeons come back fatter and fatter after every scam.
I'm not seeing a downside.
Well, there was a lot of downsides to this app. It's been pointed out that they have zero security. They got hacked twice, which wasn't even hacks. It was just terrible, terrible programming. They left everything out in the open. And a lot of gals looked at that and said, I don't care. I still want it.
Controversial dating app for women was hacked. Why is T still so popular? They disabled direct user messaging after the second hack, and it's still there. People are still using it. It's more popular than ever, indicating that we are doomed as a species.
So you can't actually just get it. There's a wait list, and they said that the wait list nearly doubled, I think, after all of this.
I really want my information stolen.
It's crazy.
Everybody else has already got my info. Why would I care? It's like, oh.
You kind of do get that sort of like,
I kind of
defeatist,
understand that to some extent.
nihilist attitude. I think probably a lot of it has to do with the fact that, like we were talking about earlier, people have no awareness. And so they didn't really read too far past the headline. And they were like, oh, that exists? I'll try that. They didn't actually read the article about maybe why you shouldn't.
Is that the simulation being lazy? I don't know.
Well, it is simulating a lot more, right? How many layers of its own AI can it simulate before it runs out of memory?
You hear rustling in the bushes.
And over on X, they are finally trying to make some money.
X plans to show ads in Grok chatbot's answers.
Is it all ads? Always has been.
I have this weird growth. Have you tried drinking some Mountain Dew?
Just pour it on it, directly on the ground. So yeah, Elon Musk said that he's trying to fix the fact that Twitter's X's advertising in the past was not targeted correctly, and nobody ever clicked on the ads because it wasn't the kind of ads they should be seeing. And he's going to fix that, and the Grok users are going to love it.
Or do you think maybe people just don't want to click on your ads? Has that ever crossed anyone's mind?
Not his. How many ads do you think he looks at a day?
Do you think? I think he's probably got someone who looks at his phone for him, right?
No, he's glued to that phone. I guarantee it. He's probably got an ad blocker, which he would say is like, oh, I need that for security because who I am.
He seems to be playing games quietly these days. It's like, oh, I'm not.
Now that is something somebody else does for him.
Yeah, he does hire someone to play for him.
All right, what do we get coming up in business news?
Business news.
More news, more sad
Well,
news.
you're going to have to check that out tomorrow then, I guess.
We'll see you then. Yippee!